These are what like the robots in Runaway do. They do like household chores and stuff. So you've never seen Runaway?
Apparently I have not.
So you've never seen Runaway?
I have not.
At all. Okay. Let me explain the plot to you because it's an absolutely crazy plot. Instead of having guys that work with like robots that are like messed up and like they don't necessarily work correctly, the police force is in charge of that. So they have Tom Selleck's character, Jack Ramsey, right? Mm-hmm. And you will know Jack Ramsey's name by the time you end watching this movie. And there's a very specific reason why you will know his name, okay? He goes out and he brings these robots down, and they're not big robots. They basically look like an Xbox controller or like a Wii U, like just like this thing that moves on the, but they've added like motorized parts to it, right? And he gets a new partner, and she is played by the girl that had the abortion in Dirty Dancing. She was in Staying Alive, and she was in Flashdance, okay? That's his new partner.
So she was in a bunch of dancing movies.
A whole bunch of dancing movies,
okay.
Right?
And this.
Yeah. And she has no clue what she's doing once she starts going into the Runaway department, which is when the robot goes like rogue and stuff like that. She has no clue what she's really doing. But Tom Selleck's character like studied for it and did all this other stuff because he used to be a cop, like a street cop, and they got vertigo. And when he got vertigo, he let one guy like escape, and that guy killed like a family of 6, right? And it's really depressing. Like he's just like, yeah, it was really messed up in my life. And immediately after that, he doesn't care. Like he just lets it go. It just happens, and he's fine with it. So the new partner shows up. They partner him up with her. She ends up back at his house one day, and they have his son there, Bobby, who is played by that kid that had all that problem, Joey Kramer. Like he got arrested in like 2016 for like breaking into a house or like some sort of robbery, something like that.
The Flight of the Navigator.
Flight of the Navigator kid. Yeah, you know what Flight of the Navigator is.
That one I have seen.
That one you know. Yeah, that kid. He was like the 80s like poster child for like, hey, I can't believe he wasn't in Mac and Me. Like, that was a terrible movie, and I just assumed he would be in there, right? And they get home, and, like, she realizes that the lowest that Tom Selleck's character, Ramsey, because you will never forget that name ever again, has been talking to a robot the entire day over the phone, right? And it turns out the robot is just like his housekeeper. And I don't understand how they have, like, the tongs and stuff like on their hands because everything looks like an old PS3 or like a PS2, except for it's got like treads on it, like on a tank, right? And it has just like one arm that comes up, and it has like this weird hook arrangement going on. And there's a scene in this movie where they show Lois making like spaghetti or something like that, and she's like putting her robot arm into noodles. And it's like 2 clamps. It looks like a C clamp or something like that. It just comes down, grabs it, pulls it out, and it tries to bring it over to the sauce. And they cut. And just before they cut, you realize that noodle's about to fall off. And by the way, do you know who this movie is written and directed by?
No idea.
Michael Crichton. The man that made Jurassic Park and wrote the original Westworld and directed the original Westworld movie, right? So throughout the entire movie, there's just like this ongoing arc of not like necessarily like robots being bad, but when they mess up, they bring in the Runaway team to go fix them. And almost immediately, there's a robot that's like stabbing at like the people that own it, right? And there's a baby inside of this house, right? And the father of this family is outside, but there's a PS3 with a knife just stabbing away. But like his 10-month-old baby's out in there, and he's outside. Now, how did he get outside and not just go, hey, I'm going to grab the baby? Like, I can run away from that. Like, it's not going to be that bad, ever, right? Like, it still has to move, like... I can outrun a Roomba with a knife. I could duct tape a knife to a Roomba. and I can outrun that. Definitely before it would kill my child, right? But he just leaves, and he's outside. There's a whole bunch of cops out there and stuff like that. Tom Selleck and his new partner show up and stuff like that. And they show up. Tom Selleck gets all suited up and stuff like that. They send a drone in, by the way. This is 1984. So they send in a drone, and they call it like a picture cam? Something like that. But it's a drone. It's got a camera on it. They send it in, and the robot somehow has discovered that it no longer needs to have just a knife. It has picked up a revolver. So this thing that looks like... Do you remember when we were in like high school? Now, this is going to age us a little bit. Remember how we like had those like projectors that were like that fat body, and then it had that weird arm that came up, and it was like this?
Oh, yeah, the overhead projectors.
Yeah, and you would like turn it on, and like the teacher would be out of the room, and you'd have like somebody would go around up across the screen, and you'd draw like funny faces on them and stuff. It looks like that, except for now it has a revolver, and it's just randomly shooting at people and robots, right? So Tom Selleck gets suited up, puts some rubber boots on, puts some metal suit on. He goes inside, and he ends up getting out the baby. But in the meantime, one of the reporters that is outside with a film camera goes inside. And as he's walking through the building, he turns around, sees the guy, and he goes, "No, man, like, you can't be here." And he's like, "No, I'm here." He does this like weird like pointing thing. Like, "No, I'm here." And like, if I was that cop, I would have been like, "No," and I would have done a different pointing situation, but it would have been more up, like that. And like, "No, man, like, there's a baby inside." So, anyways, projector robot, PS3 robot, comes around, shoots that guy, kills him dead. Tom Selleck saves the baby, comes outside. Now, while Tom Selleck's doing that, by the way, he's got a laser gun that you never see again. And it's cool, because in like, when you're watching the preview, he just shoots it down at the ground outside. He's wearing this big armored like suit, like chainmail, shoots it down at the ground, goes inside. Shoots a couple times in the house, you never see it again. Which is messed up, because the villain of this thing is Gene Simmons from Kiss. Okay? And he plays this guy named Luther, and Luther worked for a company at one point, I think. I don't know, there's a lot of weird things that go on. But he has developed, with a whole bunch of other people, these like big bullet guns. And they're like, they heat track, and they can go over like by your like basic DNA signature, right? And they find you, they kill you, right? These bullets come out of his gun, and it's this big, huge, massive gun. It's like, I'm not going to lie to you, it's sexy, right? And he shoots it, and it can go around corners, and go every place in there. And in the poster of it, which really pisses me off, by the way, Tom Selleck's holding it. Never once in this movie does he ever touch that gun, right?
But they put it on the...
But they put it on the poster. It's him and the girl that had the abortion in Dirty Dancing. They're like this, and the girl's like right behind him, and she's got like her own it's not a revolver, but it's like a semi-automatic handgun. And at the time when they made that movie, the majority of cops only had revolvers. So that's like one of the things that they put into there that like made it like seem like it was supposed to be of like the upcoming world, because it was made in 1984, but the movie is actually like set in like 1991, because at one point he says his age, and he says he's 35 years old, and he was born in like 60 something. I don't remember what it is, but he says his age, and that makes it like 1991, right? So like it kind of like holds context. They were just like 20 years late, and now we have Roombas. But if we had a problem with a Roomba, the Roomba wouldn't be like, "I have a gun." It would just be like, "Hey, I can't find this corner. We're okay. We don't need carpet," right? And it's a weird segue to go with anything right there. But like, that's the entire existence of this movie. Now, the weird things about this are that like Kirstie Alley shows up when she was hot. Hi, I'm Marshall from Ominous Fireball. You might have noticed that I'm mispronouncing the girl from Cheers' name. It's not Kirstie Alley, it is Kirstie Alley. And if anybody doesn't know who Kirstie Alley is, she used to be super hot, right?
Kirstie Alley from like Cheers and
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah. Just absolutely gorgeous in there. She used to be Gene Simmons' girlfriend in the movie, and she tried to steal the chips that he needs to program robots to do bad things, and he's going to like sell them off to other people, like different governments and stuff like that, basically to assassinate people. And eventually they find her, and it's just this long roundabout thing about getting to her, and then they go on this huge car chase at one point. They like debug her and stuff like that. They put her into like basically a TSA like tube, and it's like this beam comes down. It's like, oh, you have a bug on here, and they take the bug off, and like a transmitting device and stuff like that. First time I saw a woman without a bra as a child. I remember being like 6 years old. My mother rented it from Video Time, not a sponsor, and like it like. The camera goes down, she's wearing a bra, and I just felt very uncomfortable, and I went like this. And then I realized my father was on the other side of me, looking at me kind of like creepily going, I don't know what we're doing right now in this room. Like, we shouldn't be watching this together, because you're like 6. I hope they don't show boobs. That was basically my father's idea at that point. But they take all the bugs off of her and stuff like that, and they put her in a car to transport her across town. Still don't know why. I've watched this movie so many times. Still don't know why they're transporting across town. And all these little like RV cars come out of a different car, and they're trying to kill them, and they end up like stopping them from killing them because they jump from one police car to another police car, and the police car they were originally in was driven by a robot driver. And it turns out everything that Christy Alley's character, who's named Jackie, everything in her purse apparently has like a little like wire to it and stuff like that, and like she needs to keep these like little files for Gene Simmons' character. So they jump from one car to the next. The other car blows up, and immediately after that, Tom Selleck looks at his partner and goes, "Okay, we need to go someplace else to make sure that we can get him out." And like bring him to us. No, man, he just tried to blow you up in a car with little cars, and you want to go out in public? In Christy Alley, the only person in this movie that makes sense is Christy Alley, right? Everybody else, nobody makes sense. Christy Alley goes, no, that's not safe. Guess who the first character to die at the point when they get back to where Tom Selleck wants to go to is? It's Christy Alley. Yeah. She gets stabbed in the neck by Gene Simmons after she gives him everything that he wants. Why would we go there? That's not safe. They literally go to have like sushi. Tom Selleck's partner goes off and walks away. She gets kidnapped by Gene Simmons. He's going to kill her unless they give her Christy Alley. So they give her Christy Alley. And then he kills Christy Alley. And then she has taken like some of like the templates for like these computer chips and stuff and like given it to Tom Selleck so he doesn't have all of them. And then the guy goes back, Simmons goes back and figures out where Tom Selleck's character lives and discovers that he's got like this one single son, goes over there and then kidnaps the son and kills their robot basically. And the robot they have is fine. Why not put a chip in there? Make that robot kill everybody else like you did before, man. Nobody would see that coming. Nobody expects to have like a robot that looks like a combination of like a vacuum cleaner and a stack of books is the closest thing you can actually have to this thing look like. Nobody's going to expect that thing to like attack you at all. Give that thing a knife and just like put that little computer chip in there. You did it before? Why can't you do it again? But no, he goes over there, beats the hell out of that thing, kidnaps the kid, brings him to a construction site, has no clue that Tom Selleck has like a fear of vertigo. So why would you do that? And then the entire end of that movie is him just like going through a building, back and forth with elevators that I don't understand how they work. And it's at one point, dude, G.W. Bailey mentions bringing in a psychic. Like the guy from Police Academy says, I'm just going to bring in the psychic. And then it's never talked about again. I got this movie mixed up really quickly with Minority Report because I thought the two of them might be interconnected at one point. And like the way that memory works, I was just like, oh no, they brought in psychics, right? And then they figured out where the guy was at. No, man, I was wrong. He just randomly brings up, hey, I'm going to bring in the psychic. And he's like pissed. He's like angry, like the old Beverly Hills Cop movies. Just be like, yeah, well, I need your gun. I need your badge. And instead of this point, he goes, I'm going to bring in the psychic. Like, what does that mean? And then it never comes up again. There's just that one moment. And it's just that one thought. And that's it.
That's messed up.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Let's watch this preview because I have to see some of this action. All right. Here we go.
It is the future. Mysteriously spreading across an unsuspecting city. Machines trained to serve humans are
wow.
against
Yeah.
them.
Futuristic.
The pasta robot.
What do you got, Jerry? Model 912 cut up 2 people inside the house. I'm going in. Keep going in. We can send a disarm robot in.
Now, this guy, Tom Selleck, literally is just a guy
An ingenious conspiracy has begun.
that is like tech support.
Someone has to stop the madman who started it all.
We've got a non-standard chip here. Can turn any domestic computer into
Uh-oh.
Working late at night all by yourself.
I just had a few things to finish up.
Sexy Christy Alley.
Okay, so here's the bra scene, right?
Yes.
Because I saw a bra strap. Was this like a sexy time in your childhood?
Well, yeah, when I was like, well, it came out in 84, so yeah, it was early on in my development, but like it was, again, Video Time, not a sponsor, that like my mom rented it because it had Tom Selleck, again, like this on the cover.
It looks like a cop movie.
Yeah, it looked really cool, and he was like wearing armor, and she's like, oh, that's Magnum PI.
Bug detected.
Yeah.
Jackie, I thought I was queen.
Luther really wants to keep track of you.
Wow.
Jackie.
Between his mustache and her tits. Yeah.
He's killed 5.
And I remember this being amazing.
What? The Gene Simmons part?
No, the part where his face moves in the mugshot.
Oh, I see.
My mother looked at me and went, "Oh, that's
So-
amazing."
That gun, I just missed it. But that his like futuristic.
Yeah, they heat seek, and they can also do it by like who you are as a person. It's not DNA.
Can't run away, Ramsey. My little machine will find you wherever you go.
See, and those little bugs, you can buy those in the store.
Dude,
now, little X bugs.
those things are amazingly awesome. We're gonna get through this, dude, and we're gonna watch this again. Hold on, keep playing. This is Michael Crichton at his best. He's just like, we're gonna zoom in.
This isn't a runaway. This is murder.
We're never gonna make it through.
If you program a robot, it's murder. If it's an accident, it's a runaway. Here's the crazy elevator I was talking about.
Runaway. Tom Selleck. Cynthia Rhodes. Gene Simmons. Runaway.
Written and directed by Michael Crichton. Okay, now, here's the issue that I have with this movie, like the big part of it, is they definitely want you to know who Tom Selleck is. Now, they don't yell out Tom Selleck by any means, but they do constantly yell out his character's name, Ramsey. Yet, the police chief, played by G.W. Bailey, is in the credits as just the police chief.
Yeah, he's just called Chief, I think.
Yeah, it's just
on
called Chief.
IMDb.
Yeah, there's nothing else. It's just Chief. And it's constant.
So, you're surprised that I haven't seen this movie. My last question to you is: should I see this movie, and why?
It's good because it's not like the robots are like talking and walking and like being like trying to be people. Everything looks like a copy machine that they've put on like treads. And they have like one arm.
Do you think I'd enjoy it for comedic value or?
I think you would just enjoy it in general because like it's a fun movie. By no means is it like brilliant, but I think it's right after Tom Selleck's career was like starting to get up, and he was like, "Oh, I could have been Indiana Jones."
It reminds me like that old technology that's advanced. It reminds me of like FX. Did you see FX?
Yeah,
The special effects guy like saved the day with
yeah,
stuff.
with what is his name? The fat guy. The hell's that fat guy's name?
I don't remember.
Okay, and the Australian dude.
Yeah.
There's FX1 and there's FX2. The second one happens with like they're trying to like steal like coins or something. It's either the first or the second one. They're trying to steal coins from the Vatican.
Yeah. And if you haven't seen that one, then maybe we'll do a video on that too. But yeah,
Next
it reminds
episode.
me of that, like 80s trying to do like advanced technology and like
I like the practical effects of it though,
Yeah,
as
yeah,
opposed
yeah.
to like everything being CG. Those spiders nowadays, man, those would look like more spider-like, but they wouldn't look as realistic. And the spiders in this one, I don't know what they do, man. Every once in a while, they'll shoot you in the neck with like acid. Sometimes they just spray you with stuff, and then other times they explode.
yeah, because you can buy a hex bug at the grocery store.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the whole beginning with the gritty voice
Yeah.
actor guy and
it plays
So-
all the way through.
and the robot, like I saw some of the robots that you were talking about, but it's still very like 80s police except
yeah.
for robots, right?
Somebody should write a comic book that's this meets RoboCop. Like they take that dude's tech, and that's what like eventually became like OCP. And there's that damn laser beam, man.
And the dude, he wears like a bomb suit with no helmet. Like
Yeah.
that's supposed to help him. Okay.
Well, it's supposed to keep him like protected against like shocks and stuff. And then here, when he goes after Christy Alley, he never wears that suit again. But he ends up there. They are again. When he goes after her, he doesn't wear the bomb suit because she's like stuck in a room with a robot that's like shocking her. He goes in there and he's like trying to like really like be like tough nuts, and he grabs a chair and just beats the hell out of the robot. It makes no sense whatsoever. And this dude's just walking around with his gun constantly. He just whips it out constantly. Like brandishes it just like in front of people, and nobody goes, "Hey, that man has a gun." And even at that point, like he couldn't shoot you. See, there he is beating the robot with a chair.
Yeah.
Nobody ever goes, "That man has a gun." And even if he pulled out the gun again, even if it shot a bullet over here, you think it would just go to the person it's aimed at, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes it in the 80s, I'm sure that made sense to somebody. Somebody was like, "Yeah, this is a good writing point. Let's do that." But no.
Yeah, it seems kind of they had a good idea for a movie that would have interested us back then because
Did I bring up that he bangs Cynthia Rhodes at the end of it?
You did not.
They have no like real sexual chemistry. She likes him. He has no interest in her whatsoever. And then at the end of that, they kiss. His kid has just been kidnapped. Gets saved by him from terrifying robots that look like spiders. And then he kisses her under sparks. And then it cuts to credits. That kid's traumatized. That kid's got issues. For the rest of it, his mother died in a car accident. Dad keeps on having new partners. Dad is basically letting Lois the robot raise him, which is akin to the Jetsons. What was their name of the maid? In the Jetsons.
Who?
In the Jetsons. Remember the Jetsons? Like they were
Yeah.
in the future? Remember the maid there? The robot maid?
Yeah.
Basically akin to that. Like basically he's letting that robot maid like raise his child while he's at work. And then all of a sudden, like, the kid gets kidnapped, saves the kid. She saves the kid, too, from, like, these crawling robots with, like, acid and stuff, while on an elevator that's going to kill them both. She gets the kid safe, and they make out, and there's, like, sparks flying all over him. No, man, go look at your kid. Your kid needs to be needs help right now. That kid needs help. That kid's gonna have PTSD or something.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, buddy. I'm gonna have to see this movie now. So, yeah, I'll have to do that.
Okay.
You want to send this out? With
Yeah.
something?
Click like, subscribe.
Yeah, and if you want to see Runaway, I think you can actually buy it on YouTube. I saw like
Yeah, you can buy it on
$3 you can
YouTube.
watch
It's like $2-3, something like that.
yeah. So check it out if you want to.
Or if you wanted to, like, go to like a Walmart. It's probably in a bin.
Probably.
Yeah. And you get to see this shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. See you later.
See ya.